Hello, hello. Thank you so much for coming this evening to our town hall where we're going to learn about CPM. And these people behind me are going to be presenting that. My name is Linda Camden, if you don't know me by now. A couple things. We do have a prize drawing for those of you that thankfully RSVP'd. It gave me some sense of how many people might be here, but I tripled it and went ahead and set up a lot of chairs anyway. So if you RSVP'd, you're going to be one of 16 people that get our prize. Now everyone else, everyone, I would really love for you to sign in because I also have more prizes to give a little bit later. So if you've not seen our sign in yet, please do that. And there was a pen. So keep that going around. Sorry. And as you see more people come in, wave them down if you wouldn't mind. I'd appreciate it. And while I have the mic, if you're not familiar with the all-in ballot 5 item, here's slides that you can take if you would like to get. There's a 9-minute recap here. There's a 9-minute video recap on here that you can find out very quickly what ballot item 5 is all about. Yellow flyers there in that little stand. I'm not sure if we're going to need this, but let me introduce you to it. You all remember in the summer, was it June, when we had those wonderful cicadas all around the area, right? So when we get to our Q&A session, which will be after the presentation, if I'm holding this up and maybe doing this with it is because we are video recording this presentation for those that couldn't come tonight. We said, yep, we'll record it, we'll get it out there. And so it's very important that everyone be able to hear from our recording. So if I'm doing one of these, I don't mean to be rude, I'm just reminding you that we're too loud and that the video probably isn't picking us up. Our guest, Tara from CPM, is going to pick a name for me. This is our RSVP winner, 1 out of 16 chance. And the winner is, and if she's not here yet, Jerry Jean Hicks. Okay. Lou Feldhaus. Jim Remler.
No way, give it to somebody else.
He won last time, so that's why he's here. Let's do one more. This one's it. This is the charm.
One, it's gotta be.
Pam Wooldridge. All right, we're going to try again later. We're going to move on. I'm not putting those people back, so we'll go again later with whoever's remaining in here. John, would you like to, would you like to introduce CPM, please?
So I'll start with this comes right away. There we go. All right. So tonight we have Bob and Tara from CPM, and they're going to share with us about what CPM will do for Braintree. You're welcome to ask them any questions that you want. They're really not going to answer anything about why we chose as a board to go with CPM. That's not what they're here for. Or if we have time, we can do that later on. But they're here to introduce themselves and what they'll do for Braintree to us.
Do we ask questions as they're presenting, or wait until you're done and then open it up?
We can play it.
Play it by ear.
Play it by ear. I'll field them as they come in. It'll be fine.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you.
Hold this up this way.
Then let me say that.
Yeah, I'm going to just try to talk loud for you.
If you do have a question, we really want it to get recorded. So either talk very loudly or come closer. We try to leave a gap in the chairs so that you could come to the microphone. It's not that important that you're on video, but if you would do me a favor and say who you are before you ask your question. And if we can't hear you, I'm going to say, come on up, okay? I'll try this without, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, good evening. My name is Bob Clegis. I am owner. I have a partner in community property management. We've been managing homeowner and condominium associations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area since 1985. Our footprint goes from O'Fallon, Illinois, all the way to Columbia, Missouri, and between those two cities, we manage about 270 different communities, about 39,000 homeowners within those 270 communities. Our largest community is over 1,000 units, and we have a few of those. St. Louis doesn't have a whole bunch of those, so there aren't many communities that are similar to yours in size or in services in the St. Louis area, and we're very pleased to be part of your future. So one of the things that this may be hard for some of you to see, and that's maybe not terribly important because within about a week within this week, well, probably the first part of next week, you'll get a letter from us that will give you instructions on how to log into the portal and to be able to see your personal information, and there will be kind of the files will be thin at this particular point because we have to upload them and we have to get some history with you, but through the web portal you could make your payments, you could see the governing documents electronically, you can submit work orders, things of that nature, you can see statuses of work orders, completely online type services that will be available to you. We'll be posting a monthly financial report for your community every month, so if you have the interest and can't sleep at night and you want to be able to see how your community's money is being spent, we've got a way for you to be able to do that. And the board will get their financial reports. It'll be a little bit different from the level of detail that the board gets versus the homeowners, but you'll be seeing you'll see the same financial income and expense statement that they see and same balance sheet. So we try to be as transparent for our communities as we possibly can. They'll have a lot of information beyond what owners have from a standpoint of being able to see bank balances and bank statements and copies of invoices and actually see the bank balance in live real time. So there'll be a lot of transparency that the web portal will provide your board and you as individual homeowners. I know there'll be some things that we have to work through because you're not really in an electronic phase of services at this particular point, so transitioning you from paper to electronics is going to be a little bit of a challenge over the next 12 to 18 months, but that will be kind of our goal to see what we can do so that you have an ability to take and be able to see things from home and or do things from your computers. Tara Clark is your assigned community manager. She is what we call in our industry a portfolio manager, and that means that she manages more than one community. So percentage of her time is going to be dedicated to your particular community, and if you guys get on her too hard, I'm going to have to go to the board and say we need to give her more time. So anyway, she'll work with you, she'll work with the board, communicate things that you may turn in on, things that you'd like to see done, and forward those onto the board for the board decision. We really aren't the decision maker, we're really more of a conduit to be able to get information from you to the board members and then try to feed that communication back to you. Another service that we will be able to provide your community is a product called Stan. And Stan is a texting system where you as homeowners could text Stan and ask a question, and Stan will have some answers for you as if As an example, if you have an architectural request and you want to paint your door red, you could text Stan and say, I want to paint my door red, and Stan would send you the architectural request form that you may need to complete before you get permission to paint your door any color. So it'll be, those kinds of things will be available to you as well. And we'll grow into those things over time, because you just can't turn the switch and be going 100 mile an hour on day one. So it'll take us a little bit of time to do that. We have a customer service department, so you still will have an on-site person here. We have not determined who that's going to be, but you'll have an on-site person here that will do customer service from here, but then our customer service team, our corporate customer service team, will also take rollover calls and respond to emails and things of that nature. So effectively, you'll really have more than one person to be able to take and communicate with you, and through time, we'll create the frequently asked questions that will have pre-defined answers to, so that more people can help you. So that we can take and do more than just have one person helping you, and then we have an on-call system. Although as an individual homeowner, that doesn't really have much impact to you. But if you see water running out of the clubhouse on a Saturday afternoon, you'll have a phone number that you could call and make us aware of something that you discovered, so that we can figure out whether it's an emergency, and if it is, how we should handle it. Of course, 911 is the first emergency call that we make when there's smoke, right? So anyway, those are some of the things that are coming down the pike for you. Are there any questions that maybe I can take and try to, or Tara can take and try to address for you?
I'll ask the first question. My name is Jim Remler, and I'm kind of looking forward to having access to a personal portal. How long will it take, once I get the letter explaining everything, before I have an account that I can log into?
You'll have it when you get that letter. It'll be available.
Okay. There probably won't be any information about me there yet, but
Right.
it's there.
It'll actually be the best day of your life. It'll show you have zero balance, even if you do. But anyway, so it'll give you a passcode and stuff like that for you to be able to get into it. But you'll have that in that letter that day, and then you'll see you can kind of navigate through it, and you may not have you won't have your account history in there.
Right.
But that will be something that will build over time. The files that we're going to put into the folders aren't all going to be there, but those will build over time. Sure. So a lot of the stuff will, 3 years from now, you'll have a bunch of stuff in there, just because a lot of things have happened, and that we've been able to share with you.
So will there be like some huge scanning operation happening here to go from paper to electronic?
Well, a lot of times it just depends on what the relevance of the paper is. If it's something that really needs to be filed, then yes, we will do some scanning, but most of it will be historical stay paper until it's no longer necessary to keep, and then would be discarded and destroyed. And then the electronic stuff will build over time. Did I get
Thanks.
Ma'am in the back?
Yeah, hi, Deb Anderson. I have a question. As you're taking over, I'm one of the people who sends monthly checks through my bank.
Okay.
So should I be stopping that for the time being?
So in the letter that you get, it's going to tell you where to have those checks redirected.
All right, thank you.
And the only thing that you'll really have to change with your bank is where you want them to mail it, and your account number is going to be different than what your account number is today through your current payee. But that account number will be in that letter for you as well. And if anybody has difficulty with it, you're welcome to call our office, and our customer service team will be glad to help. Yes, sir.
Richard Reichley. Is the logon going to be per individual or per household, or how will that?
It's secure. You'll make your own password.
By each individual within the household?
Well, you can do that. If A husband and wife could use the same one if they want to. If you're a board member, I typically recommend that the board member have a separate login than the spouse. But other than that, you can share a login. Sorry, you had a question?
There are people of my acquaintance, I'm Martin Toma, who don't have scanners, don't know how to take a picture and attach it to an email, are concerned that
Sure.
the level of service is going to diminish because there won't be somebody here they can talk to.
So we recognize that everybody isn't as electronically capable as others. So you can mail information. We will probably work towards trying to, if you drop something off here, to be able to scan it and upload it into the system. So we'll work with you through those things, but the mail still works, and if someone calls our office and says, there's a stop sign down, we'll take that and create the work order via the telephone. Yes, ma'am.
To clarify though, I thought, I heard you say earlier, there would still be someone on site in the office. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And do you know yet what hours they're working, like roughly, like 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week? How often will they be here?
Based on what I've been given, it was 40 hours through the kind of the Memorial Day to Labor Day, and then 32 hours a week after that.
Okay, so they're pretty well staffed.
Yeah.
So I have a different question. That was just a clarification. My question, so you serve quite a wide audience, it sounds like. Can you tell us a little bit about your company's structure, how many employees you have?
Oh, sure.
Kind of the back office roles that'll be serving us as well as the front office?
So we have about 50, 55 employees. About 25 of them are managers like Tara. We're privately owned. Myself and my business partner Jane Oliver are owners in the company. We have an office in O'Fallon, Illinois, an office in St. Peters, Missouri. Our corporate office is in Manchester, Missouri, which is 141 in Manchester. And then we have another office in Columbia, Missouri.
And your name?
Could you state your name?
I'm sorry, I forgot to say my name. I'm Sharon Lindgren.
Did I get all your questions?
Well, if you could expand a little on, your employees, like what are some of the types of roles that would be like the back office? For example,
Oh, okay.
somebody's doing finances, they're seeing our numbers basically and accounting to create the reports. So kind of tell us about some of the back office stuff.
So we use a lockbox system for the account, for the collection of your fees. So your fees, your mailing address is going to be directly to the bank's lockbox in Phoenix, Arizona. Just like if you were paying your Visa card or something else, it's going to a lockbox. And when the money hits the bank is when it gets deposited, and that's in part why we use the lockbox system for your security and ours, that there aren't checks laying around and things of that nature that you have to worry about, things like that. We have, I guess, three people that have accounting functions, and one of the things that's important is we utilize separations of duty. So the same person that reconciles the checking account is not the same person that pays bills. So there's separations of duty so that we're following generally acceptable accounting practices. We have 6 customer service people that their role is something else and answering the phones.
Do you have an IT staff?
We have an IT company that manages our IT stuff. I found many years ago that it was so hard to keep up with that it was just cheaper to hire somebody that's their focus. And our software is web-based, so we don't have to worry about the monitoring of that. We're just utilizing a software company to provide those services. And they'll have those services here online as well through the internet capabilities.
Here's the hours that we asked CPM to staff for us. So from May 1st through Labor Day, the busiest time of the year, it'll be 35 hours a week. There will be some Mondays, they'll be here 9 to 4. Basically what determines if we're open Monday is, are we open Saturday or not. Tuesday, 7 a.m. to 2, Wednesday, 9 to 4, Thursday, 12 to 7, Friday, 9 to 4, the first and third Saturdays of each month will be 8 to 3. So there's expanded hours early, Saturday later in the evening, so that will try and get to everybody, have an opportunity to be able to get in if they need to. It's 35 hours a week during the peak of the summer, and the day after Labor Day through April 30th are winter hours. Monday is 7 to 12, Tuesday 9 to 4, Wednesday 1 to 7, Thursday 9 to 4, Friday 9 to 4, and Saturday and Sunday's closed. So there will be more hours. Today we have 28.
28 and 31, and there's a Saturday.
I think it's 28 with a Saturday.
Is it?
Yeah, so today it's more hours, but everything today is 9 to 3 or I think 9 to 1 on Saturday, so it's expanded to try to address some of those concerns about people that can't get here based on their work schedule.
Thank you.
Hey, Robert, I have a question for you. My name is Dave Woolridge. We have a website that has a lot of information on it. Is this something that is going to be implemented into your portal and then we just go to that? Or is it going to be like we could put a link on our website to get to your portal?
Absolutely. So you can certainly put a link on there to make it easier for those that are used to going to the website. And it'll take them directly into the portal and it'll come up and say welcome to Raintree or something along that line. The hard part will be probably not, depending on if you've got public information that you need to have out on the website, then we may want to keep that up to date if there's anything public. But then all the private stuff as it's developed will stay in the portal so that it's secure and you'll have to use a sign-in to access it. At least that would be my thinking.
And to another question, the scan, which I'm looking forward to, but I assume that's going to be some kind of AI that can scan our bylaws, covenants, rules, and things of that nature, and give the most educated answer back to a person.
Right. And if they can't answer it, then it gets escalated to the manager. Now, of course, they can't get an immediate response typically then, but within the next day or so, they should get the response where they've got the feedback back from the manager that this is something, and then it becomes a learned thing so that the next time that question comes in, they'll have that knowledge base. Again, it's kind of the thing that grows. Yes, sir.
My name is John Irvin. You said you'll be taking in work orders and forwarding to the proper place. Well, our maintenance company will be a third party, right? You will be handling that, directing them to the work order, directing the work orders to them.
Right.
And then the follow-up to see that the job is complete or whatever.
Right.
Okay. And will that be also out there on the portal to know that somebody's already reported that work order?
So you'll be able to, as a homeowner, you can only see the work orders that you present. Now, if it's a common ground thing, you may be able to see that as a group. I don't remember how that works. Years ago, that's how it worked, but I'll have to take a look into that. But if we get 100 of them, we get 100 of them. It'll be all right.
Okay. Follow up if I'm
Go
still there.
ahead. Go ahead.
So how often will Tara be on site here? How much should we expect to see in her? And especially like at the beginning, and how much heat can you take?
You can't get the heat, get out of the kitchen.
The restaurant's hired.
At this point, I think that we're committed to 30 or so hours of her time every month is kind of the way we've got it broken down. And somewhere between 30 and 40 hours a month. Do you remember what that was? Yeah. So what we do is a manager has a budget for their portfolio. If you are 20% of their budget, then you get 20% of their time. And it's not like carved in stone. we hope that, we know that every 1 month you're gonna be more, and we're gonna hope that the next month you're gonna be less, and over the course of the year, it's going to average out. However, we kind of anticipate that no client ever came to us because everything was going wonderfully. So we expect that there's gonna be some extra time that's going to have to be put in here in the beginning to try to get through some of the challenges. And then, 6 months in, we're hoping that we're getting to a more stable period.
One more, if that's okay. Tara, can you tell me about yourself?
Yeah.
What's your background, how long you've been with the company, and
Yep.
what?
So I have been in property management for a little over 10 years now in different capacities. I started out as a receptionist for a property management company and then did accounts receivable for a while and then became a property manager. So I feel like I'm very well rounded in all areas of property management as I've kind of worked my way through. But I have been with CPM for a little less than a year, coming up on a year. Yep, but in property management for 10, almost 11 years. Yes.
So Sharon Windgren, so building on your role, Tara, help us understand, like, what's your role as the property manager that'll be here, 30 hours over the course of a month versus an on-site person who will be here 30-ish, give or take hours per week. How do you, what do you do versus that person? How do the two of you work together, et cetera?
Well, I think that's going to be a bit of a learning experience to kind of get started to figure out what the assistant is doing already and how we can build on that. Because, it is going to be a learning experience to kind of, figure out, again, what they're already doing versus, in my role and how that all kind of works together.
Yeah, so we'll take it, as I was talking earlier with Jim, that we'll put together kind of a wish list of things that we know, that the board knows that needs to be addressed, because we're the new kids on the block. So we're going to take their lead and then try to create some prioritization on the things that need to be addressed and in the order that they need to be addressed. And then Tara will primarily work directly for the board, and my thought would be your on-site person is kind of working for the homeowners. And that's kind of the way our customer service department works as well. That we earmark them for the homeowners and the manager. That way, you don't have to call Tara because you need to figure out, you forgot where to mail the check. That's something our customer service department can help you with. If it's something where it takes on-site knowledge, then it might be the customer service taking the information, creating the work order, and then Tara getting back to you to get some more definition if there's some clarity that needs to be done. But she'll primarily work at getting the proposals and handling the bigger things, and then the on-site person will be structured probably more as an admin type person that will help processes and stuff like that.
And, yeah, I was just going to build on that a little. So with
Okay.
hiring the person, will the board be hiring the on-site person? Will you, or will it be a collaborative decision about who hires in the on-site role?
Well, at this point, the thought process is to talk to the folks that have been working with you first. And if one of those seems to fit, we will probably hire them. If we have to go to the outside of, out beyond that, then I think that we'll probably have to we will probably want to give some information to the board as to who we're thinking about, to make sure that we're not missing a qualification that might be necessary. But they'll be our employee. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'd like to return, Taylor and Dollar. I'd like to return to emergency services. I see here on your contract, it says that you're gonna use qualified and licensed personnel and contractors for emergency service, but that you are not responsible for the failure of any contractors to perform the specified, and the after-hour emergency support will be billed at after-hours rate. So my question is okay, if we have, a tree down or something like that, then are you gonna call local vendors? Because, you know, I've been a contractor and before, and you know, you pay for time and mileage and
Sure.
and all that from the time you leave, not necessarily from the time you arrive. So my question is also, do you have a network of local contractors that are gonna service us? And then the other thing is if they do something, if they break a pipe, if they do something, then it's our financial responsibility, is that correct?
No, so first off, you know, from a networking standpoint, some of that will have to be built because you're kind of on the outskirts of the world here. That would, we will have to work to try to find some contractors that service this area. If on day one that tree falls over, it's probably going to go to someone that we know and can get here.
And they'll bill us.
I understand, but on day one, we may not have built that network yet. If it's day 60, I would hope that some of those things would be, you know, kind of set up, and that's kind of us talking to the board and establishing who they've worked with in the past, who they've had good working relationships with that we can continue, and those that they'd like to get other input from. So from the other standpoint, from a responsibility standpoint, the contract is, that tree trimmer's contract would be with Raintree, not with CPM, even though we're directing them out to come remove the tree across the road or something like that. But our expectation is that that contractor is going to be fully insured, and if something goes wrong, that they're going to have the insurance to be able to stand behind whatever it is, whatever damages it is that they may have caused.
Well, but it does say here that you're gonna, you know, you guys are gonna provide the resource,
Right.
okay?
Rob, hey, can I clear that up real quick? Because we signed a maintenance contract after we signed your contract.
Right.
So 1L Landscaping is partnered with another company, and they're gonna do our landscaping, grass cutting, snow plowing, and any of the miscellaneous stuff like trees falling down or culverts being cleaned on a time and material basis. So they would work with 1L. 1L is responsible for all employees. They also have brought on Matt on staff, who is a part-time current maintenance person that will be on site 3 days a week and will be able to fill a lot of those, you know, issues that they will work through. We won't call them, he will call them, we can call them to say, hey, we need to work, but that will all go through 1L.
1L will be our emergency, they'll do our emergency
Yes.
service. Okay. And
Now, if they can't get to it, then they can step in if they know somebody or have relationships.
so we call 1L and then we call them, or we call them and they call them?
No, we call them.
You'll call our answering service. We'll have, the person that's on call will get a call from the answering service. He'll have a list of the approved contractors for your particular community that are relative to the emergencies that you can have, and then he would contact them directly and have them dispatched out here to make the repair or correct the situation.
And after hours, is anything after 5? Or what would be
Yeah.
after hours? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
My
Yes,
name
sir.
is Tracy Miller.
John Aycock. Oh, go ahead.
My question is 1L the only contractor that we've already vetted and signed a contract with, or do we already have like a snow removal or salt company, or, you know, the ones that we know we're gonna need?
Snow removal and landscaping, which is the grass cutting, the maintenance around it all, is all through 1L.
Okay,
And the nice thing about that is he has informed us when we met with him that he's got over 200 private properties out here, so he kind of knows a lot of the people out here.
right.
Now, to Tamelin's question earlier, obviously if there's a dire emergency out here and John's standing right down the street, they're going to engage in it. But anything that's of critical nature, probably 911, fire department, police department, and if nobody, then they come into play. But we will put them in contact with 1L.
Is 1L work on our gates when we have problems as well, or is that another contractor?
No, that's the same situation, but a lot of that is going to be the time and material, and we talked to Tom, and Matt is maybe going to fill those shoes as time, you know, it happens.
Mhm.
also we're gonna try to, well, we aren't, but the board is gonna try to re-engage the volunteer network to do some of those things as well.
Okay.
All right.
My name's John Aycock, I live in the forest. I have quite a bit of experience with the office in there and Raintree and stuff, working there many years ago, but setting it up and everything. You're gonna be provided under your protection a great deal of private information from people who live out here. Okay, you have your own proprietary software, I assume.
Well, it's not our proprietary.
Well, whose software is it? What
It's
is it?
called Vantica, is the name of the
Okay, that's
software.
proprietary to us. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have that.
Mhm.
So when you go bankrupt or broke and you give it all back to us, what are we supposed to do with it?
I don't know.
Yeah, ours will be gone.
You're gonna
by
have to
then.
put a
Just
question
note,
mark at the
just
end
a
of that
note, just a
part.
note. That's one of the questions I have. I'm concerned about the information that you're gonna have. And if everything goes to crap on this thing, we gotta reverse this somehow.
So,
That's important, that we able to do that. We may not have the people here to manage that software right away.
well,
Do you think about that?
it's really not much different than us stepping in today. The information that we're getting from City Village, we're having to pull it into our system and start from day one.
Right.
From a historical standpoint, if you were to leave us, we would give you a thumb drive that would have all of your documents on it, and from there you could build like we are.
Right.
Yeah, they're big now.
I got you.
So I don't think that you have to worry about that too much. From a security standpoint, we don't really have that much really confidential information on you, because your name, your address is pretty much public information. What we have in our system would be your check numbers for how you pay. And we really don't even have that. We can't see those numbers either. They're known in the system. They can communicate with the bank, but when it comes to us being able to see it, there's very limited means for us to do that.
Okay. Second question I've got, if I can allow me, is probably for John and to the secretary and yourself. When you were doing this agreement and everything, did you do a CDA or a cost balance?
Cost analysis?
Yeah. Did you do an analysis on this as to what it costs us now to do what we're doing with the people we have here and the maintenance people we have here? What does it cost right now for the salaries and the overhead costs for Raintree? I'm not talking about paving the roads or nothing like that. I'm talking about just those overhead costs, because that's what we're asking these people to do. It's basically the overhead costs. And they're gonna hire somebody to come in and do paving. That's gonna be our other money. But I was wondering if you did an estimate as to what you're gonna charge us as opposed to what we're paying now. Do you have any idea what that is, John?
Yep, it's already been discussed many times over. Right now with
What is it?
CPM, we're gonna, what was it, 25,000-30,000 a year we'll save. And then with maintenance, it's on Election Central. We have to do an update to it because of the CPM contract, but I think overall we were looking at.
Well, answer your question for the office staff, just in general, there's about a $30,000 to $35,000 savings there due to office staff, taxes, payroll, software.
Is that more or less than what they're charging us?
That's less, that's more, 30,000 more. They're saving us $30,000 to do the exact same thing, and we don't have to.
They're gonna charge us 30,000 more?
No, we're saving
Yes.
30,000.
And they handle all the workers' comp, the payroll taxes, the employees, the licenses for QuickBooks, City Village cost goes away. They do their tax returns for us, the accounting, the bookkeeping.
Yeah, because when I read the contract, I see a whole lot of dollars staring at me every time we turn around and paying for something. I'm just wondering what that cost benefit is.
Well, every
And
time
how
I
much
turn
that's
around
gonna be
today,
to
we
get
pay
done.
for something.
And you haven't disclosed that, have you, to anybody?
There's a spreadsheet, you can go look at the RainTreePOA.net. There's an entire spreadsheet analysis you can review there.
But it's a side-by-side comparison of here's our current cost year-to-date, and here's how it is with CPM. I'd love to see that.
I would too.
Well, the current cost,
No, I'm talking about a side-by-side comparison. Here is what they're
can I
offering.
finish? The current cost is everything they can do in their package. It's not a line by line, I can do this, I can mail letters, I can put stamps and things like that. It's, we can do the bookkeeping, we can pay the bills, we can do the ARAP. This is what their package does for the amount we signed a contract.
So as I understand it then, Dave, the answer is no. You do not have a document that you can share with the community that shows a side-by-side comparison. Here's QuickBooks, this is what we're spending, this is what it's gonna be with CPM. This is
That
what.
goes away.
Okay.
That goes
I
away.
Can
know,
I
I'm
just stop for a
saying,
moment? We cannot hear some of you folks in the back, so Talon, if you want to say what you want to say, either come forward so the video catches you. Dave, you're pretty good because you've got a bigger voice, but yeah, yours is fading as you keep turning your head. So I want you to say what you need to say. Right there.
yes, all I'm asking for is what a lot of people in the community want, which is a very simple side-by-side comparison. If I'm looking at 4 different cars to buy, and I've got the features and benefits and the costs, and I can go, okay, all right, can't afford that, can't afford that. Now I got these 2. What's the risks? What's the cons? What's the pros? What's the unknowns? That is really good research, and that's good information to the community. And if you don't have it, then just say, no, we really don't have it
We
in that
do
format.
have it, we had an interview with them about it, what, 2 to 3 hour interview?
Okay. Well,
And this was our requirement
Thank you, Dave.
stock. We had a requirement stock, and we asked them, are the employees yours? Do you take care of the taxes? Do we have software licenses? Do we have payroll taxes? Do you mail the bills? Do you take the payments? Can we mail checks? Can we do it monthly? Can we do it yearly? All of that was in our requirement stock to these companies. Their package included it, check mark off everything. We can make a document like that that says no charge, no charge, no charge, all the way down the list based on their package, if that's what you need. But they are all covered for what we asked in the requirement stock.
Well, it's a little too late because you signed the agreement on August 11th.
We signed it on the 19th. That is, there is a mistake in that. If you look at the paragraph that has the 11th in it, it's garbled in witness of. So there was an issue.
Well, this is from the website that you guys posted.
Right.
Just because 2 pieces of information appear on the same piece of paper does not mean they got there at the same time.
Answer one thing. There is on the website, Election Central, the 5-year budget, all-in assessment summary. And it has in it, now we need to update it since we moved the decision to go to CPM. It has our maintenance expense, it has our office expense, and it has the new contract expense. I need to update the one for CPM. That's been out there for months. So that information was there for the community to see, to compare what we're spending today versus what we're gonna spend tomorrow. And then there's a detail that goes through everything that stays and everything that goes. And we talked about those in the town hall meeting. So,
Would you like to see
Damn it, if
that?
you want,
He's
I
got
can
it on
show
his
you.
phone. Do you want to see
I
it?
have it.
I mean, I can show you.
That's not a side-by-side comparison.
Could you,
It's
delay this
not-
conversation until after the meeting that we gave the
It doesn't matter at this point, guys. I mean, really, it's a done deal.
Let's ask some questions about their
Yeah.
service.
I got one last question. I'm not finished yet. Wait a minute. I see that on this agreement that the president and the vice president signed off on, and then one of your representatives signed off on this agreement, right? Did you pass this through our lawyer? You may have to
Yes.
live with it. Who's
Yes.
our lawyer now?
Ted DeSavio.
Okay. He has no problem with that?
Nope.
Okay. Your staff?
Hi, Sharon Winford again. So one thing that we've struggled with here at Raintree is continuity of staff and people, both on the board and people in the office. And so people having clarity around the procedures, the processes, et cetera. So I'm curious again, going back to your staffing and training, kind of a two-part question. One, how do you, like, kind of at a higher level, like, what's your process or knowledge management? And how do you do training of, like, your customer service staff so they know these are the Raintree specific things? And how do you get them up to speed so that there's continuation if you have turnover? That's one part of my question. The other part then, and I'm not trying to be facetious, I'm just curious, you're a privately owned company, you and your partners, so do you have a succession plan in place? Back to John's question, if something happens to you guys, how do we know that the company will go on?
So from a knowledge standpoint, we have within the system called additional information. And it'll have within it who your pool contractor is, what your pool hours are, what's the gate access process, is there, what do you do if something goes wrong, who do you call? That kind of information winds up going into Vantica. And so customer service has like 2 or 3 different places that they can look, that they can try to see if it's something that they can help a customer or a homeowner with. And then beyond that, then it would be escalated to a manager to get involved if it's something that is greater detail. And the manager just learns the things that are going on within your community. The thing that is unique about CPM is that, we've had good history of not having much turnover in our staff. All of our staff typically come from other management companies. We've built a good system within, at least we think we have. Maybe Tara can speak to it, but that is a good environment for managers and for staff in general. And so we get the managers that are looking for something better, and therefore we typically don't have much turnover. We rarely have someone quit, and from a client standpoint and or from a customer or staffing. From a succession plan, we really haven't got to that phase of our business plan particularly right now. I think that because my partner and I share in functions, that if one of us hits the lottery, that the other one can carry on. But at this particular point, we have good key people. Everything doesn't run through me. It's not. I'm not a gatekeeper. So everybody kind of has responsibilities, and the company functions very well without me from time to time.
The question I have, Robert, is we recently switched over about a year ago to the VoIP system. Where are you?
Right here.
About a year ago?
It's been about 2 years.
2 years. And one of the things we were struggling with in the office, even when we were full staffed, is phones going unanswered and people leaving messages on the phones about not getting callbacks and whatnot. So we went to a automated answering
IVR
service, and that seems to be working better. But now our staff is reduced here recently. Have you ever had any of the complaints like you're explaining to me? A full-time staff here, 30% of Terra, and then you have the customer service. Is there ever a time when you guys don't have the time to answer these phones and get the answers, or at least a phone call back to say, hey, we got your question, we will get back to you as soon as we get the proper answers? Because that's what this community is looking for, answers, responses.
So our customer service team answers 95% of the calls that come into our office that go to customer service. If you dial Tara's extension directly, she may be on a phone, she may be on property, she may be en route to something and not able to take the call. But that's why we try to work with the owners to contact customer service first, because there's a high percentage of a chance that they can, one, have their problem solved, or at least give them the information that they're looking for, and if not, be able to take and prioritize it as to, do I need to call the manager right now, or is this something that I can forward them to their voicemail and let them leave a message, and at that particular point. I mean, there's always that thing where the inflow is greater than the capacity of the staff, but having the ability to contact customer service and know that a high percentage, if not 100% of those calls are going to be answered by a live person that can be prioritized helps, because even if it's a situation where we know that we can't get a hold of Tara, then there's some other senior people in the company that they could go to and say, what do we do in this case? Can you talk to this person or whatever?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So with the portal then, do you have any stats as to how many phone calls are coming in compared to people using the portal to report issues or whatever? Is it I mean, I know it's got to be a growing approach of, education and all that. Do you feel that most of your current communities have gone more to going to the portal and reporting their issues that way, or we do have a good mix of the older and the younger and the in-betweens. So, can you kind of just talk on that? And then a follow-up question to that, which unfortunately I have to leave in a few minutes. We just recently had an issue with City and Village and Doxo. We know how that went. I know it wasn't City and Village's problem. It was the user's problem, and I totally understand that. How, under a portal like yours, can that be addressed? I think I know the answer to that, but how would, if City and Village finds out that, Doxo has advertised outside of their website and everything, and kind of conned some people to go to Doxo's site?
Oh, okay, right.
Okay.
John told me about that.
Oh, John Irvin.
Yeah.
My name's John Irvin.
Okay, John. The other
So-
John, he told me about that
Right.
too, so.
Right. So with your portal, I'm assuming that you'd be able to slam out a text, an email, an alert to everybody saying, this has happened already. We want to get in front of it and tell you, if you're part of the portal and you've got your information in there, that you will know about that, hopefully on day one, within 48 hours, 72 hours, something like that. I don't know if you know the answer to that, but
So we have the ability to do blast emails and things of that nature, that if we find that something's going on, that we can take and get an email out quickly, and Stan can do broadcast text messaging as well, so we can get information out. But primarily, if you're not in the portal, you can't make a payment. So, I don't know how someone would mimic that, because they wouldn't know how to, well, I suppose there are people that spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to do this kind of stuff, but for the most part, you would go, if you're not in the portal, you're really not making a payment, so you're not going to get redirected in that regard. If we'd learned something of that, we could certainly take and try to address that, but we've not had any issues like that, and I think maybe because our system's different.
and
John,
I
if
can
we
ask a
go from
question.
our website to their website, there'll never be any changes, so we shouldn't get caught up in a spoof or a phishing.
Okay, sure, until somebody does figure that out. We all know that. So let me address to you, should the issue with the wire over the road last week or whenever that was, over Plantation, would that end up being a blast from them to everybody maybe?
Well, maybe, but
Is that
that was
a
a
thought
country club
process?
issue. That was not Raintree. That was a country
Well-
club issue.
No, but I mean, that you want to notify our people that you want to be careful driving in that.
Absolutely, but we would not be responsible for any of the maintenance on that.
No, I'm talking about the blast. You
Oh,
say, like,
yeah.
you blasted it out, you blasted it out and let everybody know. But the portal would allow it to be blasted out, both by text, email, every option you
Yeah, the
permit.
portal, the software really is what gives us that capability, not the portal itself, but, so, and stands separate from the portal as well, so. And the VoIP system, we would I would suspect that we'll do a call, see if we can't do some type of call forwarding in the event that the line's busy here, that it would then go to customer service.
Right. I have one more quick question before I have to leave. I'm sorry, I gotta leave everybody. Do you like your IT department? I'm going. That's a loaded question.
I guess Stanley Dollar, I'm curious to know who your email service provider is, and if we're going to be able to use that to send out email blasts.
The service provider for the email blasting
Yeah, your ESP.
is through our software.
Oh, your proprietary software?
Well, it is proprietary, it's just not solely ours.
Okay, well, I mean, does it provide analytics and personalization, dynamic content, any of those things that like, MailChimp has?
I mean, the message itself is specific to whoever it's going out to. It's not kind of some generic thing.
So in other words, we can't use it like we currently use for, you say an email blast, that's to a wide audience, so I'm just saying, are we going to have to continue to pay from MailChimp or another ESP software, or are we going to be able to use yours?
You'll use our software, you won't need MailChimp.
And you have analytics with that, and also dynamic content?
So in our system, not so much from a not from a broadcast mailing standpoint, but like the first delinquency notice goes out typically through through email. And when we can look at that particular email and see if it was delivered, and we can see if it was open. Blasting email, not so much. But individual ones, we certainly have the analytics.
Can you do segmentation?
You mean for us sending the blast emails to a certain segment?
Correct.
Depending on what segment you needed. I mean, we have the ability to create some groups within the software. Like, I think that Bobby was telling me that you have like districts or sections in your particular community or something. I heard someone say the forest. I'm trying to refer. So there is some segmenting available if we know what who's in what units are in that particular segment. But in most cases, we're probably going to send it out to 100% of the people and not just on one particular street.
Oh, so you guys are writing the newsletters and we're not? Or are we contributing to the content of the newsletters?
I mean, we can assist with putting together newsletters, but the associations put together the content.
Okay, so.
Tamlin, you really need to come up, because you were hard to hear, I'm sorry, but we're not catching you on video, you're soft.
That's okay, I'm getting into the weeds. I just wanted to understand if you had the same capabilities as many of the top email service providers, okay? And if the analytics were behind that, and also if you had a preference center, so people could sign up for different types of communications, they could sign up for text messaging reminders, I just wanted to understand if you offered those things.
So the text messaging, everybody will get when that goes online, everybody will get a message that says, "Hi, I'm Stan," and they'll direct you to save it to your contact list so that it'll recognize, your phone system will recognize text messages from him or it. And then, but the text or the preferences, thank you. You asked so many. The preferences, you can do that from the portal. You can say, I only want communication by mail, or I want it electronically.
Oh, but you can't do it by subject content.
No.
Okay, and can we send out mass text messages? Okay, we have an accident on Highway B. We want to be able to text all of our.
Yeah, we could set something up where a board member or some organization or committee in your group could have that kind of access. Yes, ma'am.
Will Tara be attending our monthly board meetings, or by Zoom, or will you be involved in that to hear the community?
She will be attending some. I don't remember how many off the top of my head.
5+ hands.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tracy Miller. Did you say there is going to be an app to access this or just a website?
So right now there is an app also that has the ability, at this particular moment, you don't have the same level of access through the app that you have by using the HTTPS,
Uh-huh.
you know, and all that. But, you know, so from your website, if you clicked on that, you'll have greater access, but the app is building out where there'll be more and more access available to you through it. It's called Vantica Home.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Sabrina Hurchin, I just wondered if people are delinquent on their payments, are you the collection agency? I haven't read the article in the.
So we do go through, put people through the collection process. We'll develop some of that with the board as to how they want us to handle that, but we'll be the ones sending out the delinquency notices.
And how about collection? Do you have a lawyer, or do we pay extra for that, or what's that?
Well, you'll, just like you have a lawyer now that processes them, we'll either continue utilizing your attorney that you're using today, or we'll talk about if you need a different one.
Hi, Sharon Woodford again. So Tara, you mentioned you've been in property management for 10 years and with CPM for 1 year now. What was it about CPM that made you want to come work for them and makes you want to stay working for them?
Ooh, excellent question. So at the time, I just wasn't happy at the company that I was currently at. And I actually knew several people just through networking events that we attend that CPM was hiring. So I reached out to Bob. And I mean, I think the big thing for us as managers is CPM cultivates like what we consider like a healthy working environment. We have resources that we can reach out to. You know, I always know Bob is a phone call away, or Jane is available if, you know, something is just beyond our scope and we can't figure it out. It's always really great for us as managers to know that we have someone else to go to, that we can, you know, ask questions that are just something we've never dealt with before. How, you know, bouncing ideas. It's just, they've really cultivated a great working environment. We all get along. It's nice just to have coworkers that you enjoy being around. So it's a pretty happy office for the most part.
Mostly probably when I'm not there.
Even better.
Sir,
Go ahead.
Joe Weckermeyer, you're pretty confident this all-in is going to pass, right? Dave?
That's not the
That has
subject
nothing to do with
tonight's meeting.
That has nothing to do with this?
No.
Well, I'm not a vote, I don't have a vote, so.
What happens if it doesn't pass? How much did it cost us to get rid of city and village?
That's just a contract that we sign outside of them. That money that we spent with them goes away, and this is the new contract. The all-in has nothing to do, this company is affordable with the way we are budgeted now.
Okay. So all-in doesn't have anything to do with, you're talking about mailing something in every month.
Yeah.
What am I mailing?
That's only if that passes.
What if it doesn't pass?
Then you pay it annually, like you do right now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Question for you, which I know is going to be on a lot of people's minds, is we all know tax laws change every year. We know QuickBooks gets updated every year. There's all kinds of payroll taxes and information that we just found, you know, John found out about some minimum salaries that, you know, you had to pay when overtime was met and whatnot. Do you guys stay up to date on all the tax laws and the training and the software that's available on an annual basis?
Well, yeah, I mean, so we utilize accountants to do most of the taxes for our clients. So they're responsible for staying current as to what the tax law is. However, you know, there is something coming up right now, the Corporate Transparency Act that is in play right now, where board members are going to have to register with the Fed as to, you know, as a, I forget the terminology, but anyway, all board members. So we have been getting training on that for the past 3 or 4 months as to is it gonna happen, is it not gonna happen? And every indication we have is that it is happening, and we will be, in that particular case, notifying the board here in the all of our boards, as of the 1st of October, what they need to do to meet that new requirement. So because we're active in Community Association Institute, we do have our fingers on the pulse of what's going on, what changes are being made.
One other question I have, being in a small business myself, I participate with NFIB. Are you guys in association with NFIB at all? They do a lot of work for tax laws and whatnot for small businesses.
Oh, okay. So we're part of Community Association Institute, which is kind of our industry association, and your association could become a member of it just like we are, and then it feeds out information to the boards, the management companies, vendors that service associations that are in that, you know, asphalt replacement, concrete replacement, those companies get involved in CAI as well. So that's our organization that a lot of information is funneled through.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Along that same line, Deb Anderson, along that same line, currently we're paying about $12,000 a year for an accountant to prepare our tax filing. Will you work with an accountant to do that, and all that our input will just be sending it back for the board to sign, or how does that work?
Yeah, typically, I mean, that's what we'll do, is we'll get the information to the accountant. The accountant will file the taxes, or not file, will prepare the taxes. Then we'll get that back to the treasurer or the board president. They'll review it and sign it. Most of the time, I think we're sending out electronically through DocuSign or something like that. So there isn't a big need to meet or anything like that. But yeah, we'll work with them to do that. This seems like a lot of money, but
Yeah.
maybe there's some other duties involved there too that I'm not aware
No,
of.
this is definitely one of those points where it's gonna save Braintree.
Okay.
That's what Laurie Haller's making to do with tax.
No, that's what our last couple did.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Jim Remler again. Someone who couldn't be here tonight asked me to ask a question. That is, if someone wants to make payments through the portal monthly, is there a fee for each monthly transaction, and what would that fee be? And that's to the homeowner.
Right. So if you sign up for ACH, which is, if you go to the monthly payment process, you can sign up for ACH and it'll pull that amount of money out of your bank account at no cost. If you're at if you're at a situation where you want to go to the portal and you want to make a single payment, there's a courtesy fee. Banks are going to doing that, and it's $2.99.
Okay. And if I just want to use the e-check feature from my bank, we can do
There's
it
no
that way?
cost whatsoever.
And building on that, Sharon Windgren, I've heard some residents would prefer to be able to come up and make a payment here at the office. Will that be available, for them to drop a payment here and then the office person?
I would encourage it not to be available. And the main reason for it is kind of what I hit on earlier, is the security of that check. And it's sitting on someone's desk until the time comes that it has to be scanned. Whereas if you mail it, it goes directly to the bank, gets discarded by the bank. I mean, it's completely within the banking structure. So we encourage all of our associations, when they have on-type staffing, that they not utilize that because it's just more risky.
So it sounds like it would be the board's decision whether we do or not. You discourage it, but it would be the board's decision whether you do or not.
Yeah, I would strongly encourage us not to do it, but we might have to wrestle over that one. Did I wear you out?
No. I'll ask another one. I'm good at asking. So another question, have you ever had a subdivision leave you? And if so, why did they?
So we have 98% client retention annually. So yes, we lose a couple a year. typically, if we lose a client, it's because there was a big turnover in the board and they don't recognize what we've been doing for them. And or they come in with the vision that they're gonna save money. And I'm glad that you guys are saving money coming to CPM, but most of my clients don't. Most of my clients pay more for us than they do. So, there are association management companies out there that don't offer the same services, the same staffing, and they can be less expensive. So, typically it's that. It's usually cost, but I'll say this, that we have the best client return from any management company in St. Louis. That I have one coming back in December 1 that left us 6 years ago, and they bounced around to a couple different management companies, and now they're coming back. So I think that, it's one of those things, and it's a really an overused term. Sometimes you get what you pay for, but in this industry, if the management company is being fair with you and they're charging you more, they're typically getting more, either more time, better staffing, more tools.
Hi, Talon Dollar. Is it true, I just want to be clear, that we signed a 3-year agreement with you?
Yes.
Richard, or Robert, just a question you had mentioned about yourself and your partner. Is there a single person, number 3, in charge?
So Bobby, John's talked to her, but she's our CFO.
I think she was on the phone, wasn't she?
Yeah, she partook in the online with you at your last meeting.
Thanks.
Just couldn't resist.
Still share. Yeah, I've always got a lot of questions on my mind. I'm a very curious person. So what do you see as the biggest risks for coming to serve Raintree Plantation?
Probably board member turnover, because, visions change with turnover. And trying to maybe get them to see what your current board saw as advantages to going to professional management.
That's a good answer.
Oh, I guess I wanted.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, just because I don't know.
Your name?
Oh, Mark Hopkins, Sharon Root's husband. She does ask a lot of questions, trust. But I guess just a quick show you. Could we see like who the people who are running for the board who are here before Dave Getty leaves? Yeah. Well, maybe not. Well, there goes Dave Getty, but who else is running for the board? Canlin is. Are there any other people who are running for the board?
I guess they didn't think this was important.
Well,
They should have been here.
you could make your conclusions,
Eric is,
which I believe. So, I understand. But I just want to get a quick question on that. So there's 2 people. That's fine.
Somebody has a baby.
I understand. I mean, I'm not looking for excuses.
No judgment, he was just curious.
I was just wondering who it was, and kudos to you for making it.
It sounds like, can you all hear me with this? Yes? No?
Not,
Turn on.
yes.
Okay. It sounds like we're winding down, so if you're sitting on a question, please raise your hand so we know that, so that we can address it. And while you're thinking about one more question, I'm going to try again. Prize winner.
My wife on FaceTime.
It's a new card.
Donna Umfleet.
No.
She's at home.
Yeah.
Gary's here, though, maybe he just take
No.
Mark Hopkins.
It's a new car.
Not quite. All right, so is that it? No
I'd
other
like to say
questions?
one thing.
Hold on a minute, folks, we do have one more.
You were right.
I'd like to reiterate what you told us on the interview when we did that 2-hour-long interview with John, and I think Kent, you were on site as well. I just want you to clarify if I heard this correctly, that the first meeting you went to, you were booed, but when you went to the second meeting a year later, you had a standing ovation.
We've had that.
Thank you.
I mean, it takes commitment, it takes everybody having some tolerance on both sides of the, whether it be the board, us, you guys. I mean, we're not gonna come out batting 1,000, and you got probably a fair amount of things. I mean, the thing that's, I have another community that was self-managed for a long, long time, and we've been with them for 18 months now. And some of the homeowners get frustrated because either, their costs have gone up or whatever, and it's not anything related to us, or we're finding things that have to be fixed. We're the guy with the shovel, we're not the guy that buried the bodies. We're the ones finding things, and it's because of our expertise that we have the capability of finding these things. So, if we do come to you and say, we found something that you need to be aware of and you need to address, it's not something that we created, it was there, and maybe it's been just looked past for a long time, or maybe there's a way that no one ever thought to handle something. So there's going to be some things where we're going to share our expertise with the board as to, here's the problem, here's a possible solution, do you think it'll work in your community? Is there a financial investment that goes along with making it better? All of those things. I mean, we're not going to come in and just change everything and find a lot of ways to save money. The reality of it is your previous boards have probably not been overspending. They've probably been watching your nickels and stuff like that. If I can save you a little bit, that's great. But it isn't magic, and it's really not science. It's just a matter of just putting your foot in front of each other, the other one every step, and trying to get through it and get to a better place. And over time, you will be in a better place having a professional management company, because we will become part of your continuity if you keep us long enough. Because if your board is turning over on a regular basis, we become your continuity, and we can really help your community with that continuity, because at some point Tara becomes the most educated person in the room on rain tree stuff, and not maybe the past board members and stuff like that. So anyway, we're looking forward to working with you. Hopefully everybody will have some patience with us, because I know that we won't hit every cylinder, but it won't be because we weren't trying.
Thanks for your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Just one more announcement. If you missed the Meet the Candidates, which was yesterday, it is out. It is available now. I don't think it's posted on the website yet, but I can get it to you if you email me. Well, it is on YouTube. If you're familiar with YouTube, you can go out there and look at the Raintree Plantation channel on YouTube and grab it. Please do watch it, because the first 4 minutes of it, maybe 3 minutes of it, is the new voting system that we have, and voting starts tomorrow.
What time?
9 o'clock is voting tomorrow. So it's just a quick way of understanding that there's some changes from the past. If you give us that 3 minutes, we'd appreciate it, so we're not answering everybody's questions when they come tomorrow. Get a little self-educated on that, and of course we'll help with that on any other questions. So this was it, right? We're
Vote
done.
here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Vote here.
How many votes does still one?
Every deeded owner, one. Done.
And remember to bring your reading glasses.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your ID.
Bring your readers, and we'll help you. And we have a key. We've done a lot to give you what you need, but do bring your reading glasses. That would be helpful.
If you make a mistake and you say, hey, I need another ballot,
Can you erase?
erase. You don't erase on a voting ballot, do you?
On
On
these,
these.
you do.
Oh, come on. You can't erase.
If you want to stay, we'll show you how. If you want to stay tonight, we'll get one and show you.
Okay.
But you'll see it soon. Anybody else? We're good? thank you so much for your time and attention for this. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you are, now, there you are.